November 23rd. Hold your face to the light. Believe more deeply. Hold your face up to the light, even though for the moment you do not see. This quote from our daily reflections is taken from As Bill Sees It, page 3. As always, we'll see it in context. Let's read the whole page 3. It's quite short, but to see the topic we're talking about here. The topic is pain and progress. There's 3 parts to this section. Years ago, I used to commiserate with all people who suffered. Now, I commiserate only with those who suffer in ignorance, who do not understand the purpose and ultimate utility of pain. Those who do understand, you don't need to commiserate with them. They understand that the difficulties we're going through is for a purpose. Everything in God's world is for a purpose. That's the first part. The second part, someone once remarked that pain is the touchstone of spiritual progress. How heartily we AAs can agree with him, for we know that the pains of alcoholism had to come before sobriety and emotional turmoil before serenity. Everyone in AA looks back at our history and we come to that recognition. We're grateful alcoholics. Because of this difficulty, we came through that difficulty, we came to the light to understand what's happening. This is true of all pain and suffering in this world. God made the world and there's a purpose for it all, those who can see the light. And now this last part of the section of the page about pain and progress. Believe more deeply. Hold your face up to the light, even though for the moment you do not see. How important is that? Because very often we don't know what's going on. This lack of health, lack of wealth, tragedies, problems. We don't know what it's all about. But we do know that our Father in heaven is in charge. God is running the show. And that's how we can hold our face to the light, even if we don't see it, we don't understand it right now. What a beautiful sentiment, absolutely true in Torah Judaism. That's how we live. We live with the recognition of divine providence. Our life is tailor-made curriculum. Every person, the perfect thing for a spiritual, as we mentioned earlier, whether or not what's happening is to bring growth is dependent only if a person is living with God. If he's going his own selfish ways, then God made it that the world will bring destruction from it. But when he's living with God, he'll see that will bring him to higher levels of growth. So today's reading, the reflection from another AA member on this statement from Bill W. is as follows. One Sunday in October, during my morning meditation, I glanced out the window at the ash tree in our front yard. At once I was overwhelmed by its magnificent golden color. As I stared in awe at God's work of art, the leaves began to fall, and within minutes, the branches were bare. Sadness came over me as I thought of the winter months ahead. But just as I was reflecting on autumn's annual process, God's message came through. Like the trees, stripped of their leaves in the fall, they sprout new blossoms in the spring. I had my compulsive, selfish ways removed by God in order for me to blossom into a sober, joyful member of AA. Thank you, God, for the changing seasons and for my ever-changing life. How important, how encouraging it is to have this recognition. It's not a once and done deal. People think, okay, I'm sober now, I dealt with it. No, it's like the seasons of life. There's constant change and growth. And when we see fall, the magnificent, and we see the sunset, it's coming to an end, it's getting dark, we know 100% the sun will come out tomorrow. And there's a cycle. And all of us need to go through the cycle all the time. And that's why we actually work the 12 steps. It's in these daily reflections every year. Now we're in November, working the 11th step again. That's why we have all these reminders. There's a constant cycle of growth, and the growth involves dealing with issues, getting to a higher level, every person according to where he is. And that's how we live with God. That is the purpose of life. Every year, the Hebrew word for a year is a shana, which means to change. And that's why, and every year is 12 months. Those are the 12 steps of change. I actually have a whole lesson series, how each month is exactly parallel to that step in Judaism. Well, thank you for joining. Have a wonderful, successful day.